Hi Leo, welcome to your March 2022 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Leo, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, like peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your actions and interactions with the world at large this month, you get you've got the Knight of Swords, right? So your actions are bold, they're powerful and dynamic this month, which probably has a lot to do with the fact that your ruler, the sun, is currently or will come into Aries this month, right? Around the third week of the month, the sun is going to move into Aries, and this is the birth of the zodiac, but it's also the sign of the sun's exaltation. So the sun does really good work in the sign of Aries, and you will be feeling this even more because it's offering a trine or an easy or a harmonious energy to your own sign. So it's going to trine your sun, your moon or your ascendant, which is a positive energy flow that is going to really hit you in a good way, and it allows you to be bolder, it allows you to be more dynamic. If there are things that you've needed to speak up on, if there are things that you've needed to say, if there's something that requires maybe less less brains and a bit more brawn, or maybe a solid combination of the two, this is the month where you can get things done, right? And the fact that you've got the Knight of Swords as your actions card, this is you launching into things. This is you, maybe for some of you, launching a project. Maybe for some of you, you're putting something together. Maybe for some of you, this is a time where you are really moving towards I kind of feel like it's like a lot of what you do this month is dynamic and it's bold and it's getting you out there in some way, shape or form. Because it is the Knight of Swords, this does suggest that this is you setting up meetings, it's you doing get-togethers, making sure that you've got lots of stuff going on, lots of connections being built. Some of it might feel, a little bit fast. It might be because it's the Knight of Swords after all. So you might feel like, okay, this is happening too fast. And it's kind of like the universe's way of saying, no, this is happening at the right pace. You're just needing to expand or to get on board with the new pace of things. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Seven of Cups. You've got this with the Knight of Swords. Now, things speeding up and things expanding is absolutely the way to go. Too much too quick is something that you do need to watch out for though, right? So yes, expansion, yes, growth, yes, stepping out of your comfort zone this month, but maybe not adding more for the sake of something being more. This is also a good month for you to really think about what you're saying and why, all right? That needs to be something that you give a lot of thought to this month. And I think actually in a lot of ways, this could really help you figure out by having that sounding board, speaking to your collaborators, speaking to your friends, speaking to people that you trust about your ideas or the way that you're taking things. This is how you're going to really start to chunk down on what and who makes the cut and what doesn't, all right? And there's nothing wrong with either way of it going. When it comes to work, it's just going to be really busy. I'm sorry to say, but if you're hoping for a time of it where it's going to be like la la la, you can just skip through the fields of daisies singing, the hills are alive, it's not going to happen. This is not that month, right? You're going to have to really think about ways that you you're just going to have to really, you're using a lot of energy this month and you're using a lot of brain power this month. So just make sure that that energy is being expended in the right way. When it comes to those of you that are not working for any reason, studies, work, retirement, etc., this would really be a good month for you to figure out where you're spinning your wheels. All right. For your heart and half, you've got the Knight of Wands. Two knights represents intimacy, right? So for those of you that know, for those Leos that are out there that are single and have been single for a long time and have been feeling single for a very long time, this is definitely a month where things can speed up, where things can steam up, where things can get a lot more sexy, things can get a lot more intimate as well. For those of you that are newly seeing somebody, the level of intimacy carries on and continues right the way through this month, but then it takes on a different sort of energy, right? Especially as we come into Aries season. Now, 2 nights, like I said, represents intimacy. You've got this next to the 7 of Cups. So for some of you, you could be having conversations of, you know, I don't really know if you like me, or, you know, is there anything here? Like, you could be having more conversation than is actually needed. It kind of reminds me in my head now, I'm hearing that song, the Elvis song, a little less conversation, a little more action, right? Whatever that means to you. This is the time to get out after it, right? The Knight of Wands is passionate, vibrant, bold, it's sexy, it's in your face. And this is the month for you to be all of those things, especially with the sun coming into Aries. So if you're single, this is really about getting out there and not being afraid to strut your stuff. Yes, I'm even talking to those of you that are the silent dignity types of Leos as well. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this could be you and a partner really starting to discuss the things that you are passionate about together and how they can enhance the relationship in some way, shape, or form. I kind of feel like this is one of those months where, you know, like sometimes when you're in a relationship, not what was that like? I have no idea. I don't remember. But this could be one of those months where, like, you know, when you see your partner do something or say something, you're like, I'm so hot for you right now. Like, you could see them at their best in some way, and it really helps the relationship solidify, or they see you at your best in some way, and it's really like, you know, not that they're not already attracted to you, but it just makes you even more glowy in their eyes. There's definitely a sparkle or a twinkle in the eye of the Leo this month, which is great. All right, for your money and materials, you've got the 3 of Pentacles. So you've got this next to the Knight of Wands, which for me, I almost get the feeling that this month, it really is through your skills, through your passions, and through your dedications, things that you've already got going, irons that you've already got in the fire, you know, plates that you've already got spinning. It's like more of those things, but not more for the sake of more. This is about really homing in on, or, you know, fine tuning what is already working, right? And what, you know, in a lot of ways as well, that 3 of Pentacles suggests that some of you could be doing some form of market research. This would be a really good thing for you to delve your toes into this month as well. When it comes to physical health and vitality, 3 of Pentacles is great because you're really starting to learn what your body likes, what your body needs, you know, and we all know, like, you should have lots of rest, you should drink plenty of water, like all of the old cliche stuff. That's true for everybody. But this month you're like getting a real, okay, you know what, when I eat carbs I feel bloated, or actually, you know, when I eat dairy I come out in a rash. This is you really starting to understand your body's signals and the ways that it speaks to you specifically, and through that you're now starting to enhance and maximize a lot of your results, which is great. For your first week of the month, you have the Moon card, right? So you've got this underneath the Knight of Swords. I kind of feel like you might go off in a direction this month, and then it's kind of like, you know, like one of those times where your sat nav runs out or it stops working and you're like, okay, the sat nav ran out about 2 minutes ago and I've just been driving. I'm not entirely sure I'm going in the right way, but I kind of feel like I am, so I'm just going to keep going. This feels like that. It's almost like you're not really 100% sure of the path, but it feels like, okay, my intuition says just to keep going in this direction, and you know, you got to allow it to unfold. This first week of March might be a little bit more sort of, not illusory, but it might be a bit more nebulous. For your second week of the month, you've got the Emperor card underneath the 7 of Cups. For some of you, this is you coming up ranks, right? For some of you, maybe you're becoming a boss, maybe you're coming into a position of authority, maybe you are donning the cloak of a business owner finally. It's like you're taking something to a new level where you are in charge, and you've got this next to the Moon and underneath the 7 of Cups, and it's like, okay, I get that I'm in charge and everyone says that I should be a good leader and all the rest of it, but you know, I don't know, am I doing this right? Is this, you know, is this, yeah. You could be having those moments of real sort of, It's interesting because everything seems to be going in the right way, but there's like a not even so much about self-doubt. It's like you're constantly checking to see that you're doing things the right way. Ease up a little, all right? As you come into the third week of the month and we get into Aries season, you've got the High Priestess. For some of you, this could literally be a clandestine affair. Doesn't have to be, but it could be, because you've got the High Priestess, right? Things that happen in behind the scenes. You've got the Knight of Wands. Now, for some of you, it may be that this is a person that you work with. It might be a person that is in a position of power. It might be a person that is, maybe a boss or a superior, and so you're kind of looking at them and you're like, okay, this is really great. It's really, full on, and it's sensual, and it's all the rest of it. But if we get caught, the implications could be a little bit, it could be that maybe for some of you, you're dating, a friend's ex, or vice versa. Like, it could just be a little bit of a delicate situation. And I will say, just be mindful, right? Ask yourself how much damage is likely to occur should this relationship or partnership be discovered. That's something that you really do need to think about, because ultimately it's you guys that are going to be doing the damage control, right? Now, I have trained myself. It's not like a holier than thou moment, but I don't date people that I work with. Not that I work for myself now, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't date within those circles, and I don't date people that have partners and whatnot. Like, no matter how much I might fancy someone, no, not interested in it, because it's just too complicated, and somebody always ends up getting hurt. So I'm just saying, watch out for that this month. That being said, you might end up dating somebody that, maybe it's new and it's fresh, and you don't really want to tell anybody about it at the moment because everybody always up in your business. Do you know what I mean? Like, that makes sense. It could be as well for some of you that maybe it's a potential that there's an age gap, and maybe that's why you're not really hot on sharing it. But for some of you, I kind of feel like this might be somebody that you've dated in the past. Maybe it ended badly. Maybe friends and family are like, don't ever go next to that person again, or whatever, and you're like, okay, and then you're like, you could find yourself doing that. So just watch out for it. But yeah, for those of you that are partnered, this looks equally as nice. But that third week of the month is also a time where I think a lot of your plans, or the things that you're trying to get off the ground, you'll be holding close to your chest. Or remember, the High Priestess is hidden things revealed. So for some of you, this might be a time where you're releasing something out into the world, something that you're really passionate about, you're sharing. And then finally, for the fourth week of the month, you've got the Devil card. Working very hard here. The last 2 weeks of March, it looks like you are nose to the grindstone, right? Really working very hard. That's a lot of Saturnian energy there as well. So, especially in that fourth week of the month, try not to overdo it. Maybe, there could just be a lot going on, right? And I kind of feel like, the way that Leos are, they tend to, yeah, I'll be fine. I can rest when I'm dead. That card seems to want out. Your new moon message on the in the sign of Pisces is the gate 10 and empower. What I love about this card is it basically says, by being true to your authentic self and what you truly need, want and desire, because this is an 8th house moon for you, that's how you really empower other people, by being true to yourself and walking your path authentically. That empower card as well suggests that you could come into or have an experience as of that new moon in Pisces that really does empower you to be your best. All right. And then for your full moon in the sign of Virgo, you got the gate 47 and mindset. And this card basically says, it's kind of like the meme where you see two people sitting on opposite ends of the bus, and it's like whichever one you choose is what you're going to get. That's this card in a nutshell. And that Virgo full moon, which will be in the 2nd house, especially for ascendant Leos, to a lesser degree the sun and the moon, it's going to... Yeah, like that, the full moon in Virgo, it's really going to show you where that detail orientated energy of Virgo either builds you up or holds you back. But I really do feel like this is a lot of you here in this last week of the month, fine-tuning a skill. It's like you're really chunking something down to its minute bits to really say, yes, okay, now I've got it. This is what it finally looks like. And for some of you, it might be a moment of, you know, finally it's happening, or it's going in the right way. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.